right, I'll give you some background on this gentleman. Actually, this whole show we're doing tonight, this is something we've only done once before, where we booked like an entire tour to come together, the Welcome to Chicago tour. And David's not part of the traveling show, but we brought him up for tonight anyway. But this next gentleman is one of the two founders of the Welcome to Chicago tour. So please welcome to the stage a very funny guy who's been all over the country. Please welcome to the stage Andre Copeland!
What's going on? I love working with David because his jokes are hilarious. But anybody else want to check the sex offender's website when he done? It be popping up on Candy Crush every time he perform. Like, let me just take a little closer look this week, make sure ain't nothing changed. But speaking of that, they got a thing that's actually gonna change date rate forever. So let me ask a question: is any couples, any married people in the room? All right, that's what I'm talking about. Well, they had this thing called a date rate tester. Now imagine that you at a bar, you see a lady, you like, I'm gonna go talk to her, and so you buy a drink. Now the bartender bring the drink, and she go in her purse, pull out the canister, pull out the test strip, throw it in the cup. Now you thinking she been check out diabetes? You like, she must have got diabetes, but and then you like, hey, you check diabetes? It'd be a little awkward. It'd be a little awkward for you. But what can be worse than that? What if it come back positive? It come back positive. Because now it's going to be real bad. It's going to be real awkward. Because she's going to be like, this motherfucker is trying to rape me. And he be like, damn, this bitch know I'm trying to rape her. And ladies, let me ask you a question. If that happens, what do you do? Ain't it your more obligation to tell the rest of the ladies in the bar? Or do you just run out like, psh, it ain't me, and be out the door? You need to ask yourself that. Find out what kind of person you are, for real. So I started working out. Anybody work out? Started working out. Yeah, the other day, I was running, and I got 3-4 blocks out. I was getting it. Ha, 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 get. Okay, maybe it was more like a brisk run, a brisk jog. It wasn't really that fast. But anyway, I'm running, right? And 3 or 4 blocks out, my stomach goes, right? So I'm like, that's okay. You know what? I'm getting it. I gotta go. I'm trying to drop some pounds. I'm going. It don't matter. So I keep going another block. My stomach goes. Everybody know what that means. You know what that means. It's like trying to reconsider some things, right? So now I done slowed up. I done slowed up, and I had to clench up because I gotta take a shit. So I done clenched up the butt cheeks real tight. I'm like here. And I went from a fast run to now I'm doing one of these numbers, right? Right. But now people are looking at me, so now I gotta play it off. So I grab my leg. I'm like, hey, how you doing? I was running real fast. I pulled my hamstring. And I'm pushing the butt cheeks real tight. And I'm sitting there like, man, what am I gonna do? Because now I'm 3-4 blocks out. So, basically what I'm trying to say is I shit on myself. I'm sorry. I had a choice, man. I figured I was running already, right? I was gonna have to take a shower when I got home, so I just cut out the middleman. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Ain't nobody ever shitted on himself in here. All these adults, y'all. I'm the only one. Come on now. Y'all lying. Lying. Speaking on crap shit, I work at a drugstore, and the thing about me working at a drugstore is that sometimes I'm a manager. Sometimes I gotta clean restrooms, and it always shocks me how much dirtier the women's restroom is in comparison to the men. And I've been trying to figure this out, and I think what happened is that women, y'all get in there, and y'all like to float. Like a man. Let me tell you what we do. We get in there, we lay a sheet or 2 down, and we sit down. But women don't want to do that. They want to float. And that's why y'all trajectory be all off. The trajectory. Because some of y'all, and so you try to do one of these, and some of y'all y'all do it differently. Some of y'all like wedge y'allself in between the stall, like you on American Ninja. Right? Y'all do. And the trajectory be off. And then the craziest one is this woman told me that she actually stands on the toilet.
What?
And, yeah, she stands on the toilet and squats. And I guess she does it like she gonna lay an egg. She, blah. And so you miss. And then the women, like y'all used to having to clean up after people, right? So you like, damn, this ain't my house. Like, I ain't cleaning shit. But it shocks me because like women, you know, y'all so beautiful. Like I'm looking around, I see all the beautiful women in here, and y'all so much more beautiful, and y'all so much more hygienic than me. You know, y'all really, you know, wash every nook and cranny and crevice real slowly with the soap suds. Okay, maybe that's just in my head. Maybe that's just my head. But anyway, but y'all, you know, y'all really, you know, focus on it. You know, man, I'm gonna be real with you. You know, I'm gonna let y'all know a secret. We watch what we can see. Like that's as far as we'd be like, you ask a man when the last time he washed his feet, he might stumble. He'd be like, well, the water ran down my chest, fell on my toes. That count. You know, he might stumble for you. Now, did you snort? That was all right. That's sign of approval. I like that. I like that. But yeah, but the only time a man really gets serious, you know, we really focus on the washing, is when we think a woman might venture that way. We be like, let me really get the balls today, just in case she want to venture that way. Might be feeling a little frisky, right? That's the only time. For real. So I'm a parent. I've been a parent for 4 years. Any parents in the room?
Yep.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Life changes. Don't let nobody tell you that your life is gonna be the same, because they lying. My life changed completely. You know, I'm responsible for this little person. You know, I got responsibilities. And the thing about it is that, you know, one of my things that I do as her dad is that I put her to sleep. Now, this was easy when she was a baby. Let me tell you what I did. I would lay her down. I looked down at her. She looked back up at me. I looked down at her. And she went the hell to sleep. That was it. That was as hard as it got for me. But now she 4. She run over here, over there. She want to play with everything on thing. And she never want to play with the stuff that she's supposed to play with. Like the stuff that got pretty colors and pretty sounds and make these pretty noises. It cost me $19.95. No, she don't want to play with that. Instead, she want to play with stuff she don't got no business messing with. Like knives. And forks. And electrical sockets. What the hell are you doing? Get your little ass away from there. That's what she want to play with. So needless to say, it's a lot harder to put her to sleep. You know, so I did what any good parent would do. I held her damn head down till she fucking fell asleep. Don't judge me. I'm just saying, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I ain't saying I was recommending a parenting magazine per se. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Another thing about me being a father now is that I find myself watching kid shows. Anybody watch kid shows? And one of the shows I used to have to watch was Sesame Street. Now that was the show. I love Sesame Street. And my favorite character was Big Bird. You know, Big Bird was the man. So this show is still on, so I'm watching it with my daughter, and one scene go past. No Big Bird. Then another scene go past. Still no Big Bird. I'm like, what the hell happened to Big Bird? And instead, they got this little red monster running around. And I'm trying to figure out, how did this happen? So I'm sitting there looking, I'm like, you know, I think what happened is that Elmo and Big Bird was in a room together. And Elmo looked up at Big Bird one day and was like, hey, Big Bird, Elmo think Big Bird's an asshole. It's my show now. Some these days, everyone come and... You know, Elmo get real gangster with, come and play. I think that's what happened. Elmo jacked Big Bird's show. He stole it. Give it back. That's all I'm saying. Another thing is that I noticed that my views have changed. You know, like I'm a lot more conscious of like the things I do and how the representation to my daughter that I am. You know, like the other day I was at work and we have magazines and I saw something that as a father shocked me. You know, I'll tell you what I saw. It was a nipple. It wasn't a shadow of a nipple. It wasn't a silhouette of a nipple. It was a full-on nipple in a magazine at a family drugstore, right? So I was shocked. I was pissed. I was mad. Like, I gotta call somebody. Okay, I'm lying. I'm sorry. I can't be mad at seeing a random titty. I don't care how long I've been a dad. To see a random titty, that means the day gonna be good. The day can't go nowhere but up from seeing a random titty. I got so happy. I called my girl. I'm like, hey, I saw a random titty. It didn't look like your titty. That's what was great about it. It was a different selection of titty. So I was happy. But yeah. But I wish I had, evolved more than that, but I haven't. Racial profiling. Do it. Do it. Sometimes you gotta do it. I work, like I said, I'm a manager at the drugstore, and sometimes I gotta do it. Like I ain't gonna lie. There was these two brothers in my store the other day. There's black people for all the white people in the room. And two brothers in the store. Now they look like they got out of jail yesterday. I'm not talking about a week ago, a couple months ago, like they had time to be rehabilitated. No, yesterday. So I may have followed them around the store. Okay, I did follow them around the store. But not only did I follow them around the store, I had my hand on the phone in case I need to call somebody. They looked a little dangerous. I ain't gonna lie to you. But it's funny to me because that's how the black stereotypes are. We thieves, we rob, we eat chicken all day. That's our stereotypes. But some of the other race stereotypes ain't quite so negative. Like what's one of the big white stereotypes? Got good credit. Right?
Yeah.
I know some white people with bad credit, right? You got some bad credit. That's what he was like, fuck yeah, I got bad credit. just like I'm sure there's some black people with good credit. I don't know nothing personally, but I'm sure they exist somewhere. You gotta search for them a little bit. But just stereotype black people and white people. Stereotype Indian people too. Like if they come in my store, I know one or two things. Either one, they're the pharmacist. It's true. I swear it's true. Or two, they dead about all the pop and the drinks. Because they probably own a 7-Eleven and a gas station. I'm just saying. I'm saying I've seen it happen more than once. That's all I'm saying. That's what a stereotype is. But yeah. So, conclusion of that story is do it. Sometimes you gotta do it. Speaking of races and interracial, I really wasn't really talking about that, but that's what I'm finna go on to. Drake and Chris Brown, two light-skinned brothers. They always a funny topic to me because I'm just like, what is going on? Like they always getting into it. Every other month they got something little battle. The worst time I got was when they got into a bar fight throwing bottles at each other and shit. And it always tripped me out about entertainers because that never would have happened in the past. You never would have had Marvin Gaye duking it out with Smokey Robinson. You wouldn't have had that. Or Chico. Not Chico, the other brother. Which one? You never would have saw them duking it out. Him and Lionel Richie. You never would have saw that. But things have changed. And what's funny is that it was on 106 in the park. They was talking about them having these beefs or whatever. And they was like, I don't know where it's going, but I know where it can end up. And they put up a picture of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls. And I was looking at the screen like, in what world do you compare Drake and Chris Brown to Tupac and Biggie Smalls? I mean, Tupac wore many hats, but one of them was a thug. He really thought he was thugging it out all the time. Even when he shouldn't have been. He was in court. Anyway, but always, and Biggie actually was a drug dealer. If I'm not mistaken, Chris Brown was in the choir. He was in the choir. And Drake, I just said, Drake's a Jew. He is. I'm sorry, he is. You can't be a gangbanger if you had a bar mitzvah. You just can't. I'm sorry. That don't go together. That just don't make sense. So I was like, please, let's stop comparing Tupac and Biggie to Drake and Chris Brown. Sex. That's always a fun topic. Anybody having sex in here? I know there's some mamas and daddies. Somebody having sex. Okay, anyway. But that's always a fun topic, right? But if you're 20, I'm way past 20 now. But if you're 20 years old or more, you're adult. Your parents know you having sex at that point, right? But that's kind of where you want the line to be drawn, right? You don't really want your parents to know how you really get down. You don't want your parents to know you into that. That extra stuff. That extra stuff. You don't want to know how much of a freak they really raise. That's why, if you're over 20 years old, you didn't get the hell out your parents' crib. Because what's going to happen is they're going to come home and find you do the extra. Can you picture that? They're going to come home. She's like, oh, Lord. Then she run up to you, she's like, if Like in my day, the man was on top and the woman was on bottom. I don't know what the hell you doing. Right? And that'd be awkward, but what could be more awkward than that? Once she come on, she's like, oh Lord. And she run up to you, she's like, you know, she's like, if you ask me, that girl wasn't doing it right. In my day, you're like, Mama, no. Mama, please stop. Mama, no, I don't want to hear that. No. I'm going to burn my eyes and my ears. The Oedipus in this month for real. That's to let y'all know I'm a little educated. A little bit. So like I said, I work at a pharmacy, and the thing about me working at a pharmacy, you know, is the idea of close with prescriptions and insurance. And for the most part, it's a good system. You know, you have your insurance, you pay your money, and bam, you got your medicine. You know, but sometimes it don't work. And then you got to pay like $2,000. Now I don't know about y'all, but if I got to pay $2,000, hell, I just died. Like for real, like I just died, cause I'm like. I can't eat now or pay my rent, but I'm lying? And that's it for me. You know, and then people show their ass when they gotta pay that full price. They really do. Give you an example. Got a customer named Miss Johnson. Now Miss Johnson is the nicest lady. Sometimes the lady bring you cookies for Christmas and candy for Easter type of lady. You know, so I see her in line one day, so I go grab her prescription. Now at the corner of my eye I see this mother say $2,000. I'm like, dang. Woo, this is gonna be interesting. So I was like, hey, how you doing, Miss Johnson? She's like, hey, how you doing, baby? I was like, well, I see you got some gum, and a magazine. So with your prescription, your bill comes out to $2,012. She changed on me. She grabbed me and said, look, here you little shit. You gonna go back there, you gonna fix this. I'm gonna knock the black off you. Your mama's a bitch. I'm like, how come the first place go is your mama when they married you? I'm like, Miss Johnson, my mom did not do nothing to you, Miss Johnson. My mom did not do, I'm gonna whoop your, Miss Johnson, my mom did not do nothing to you. It's not called for. But they do that, they change on you. You know, and then, like, another example, like, I had another customer come in, and he was a little more straightforward with it. He was like, hey, I just recently lost my job, so I don't have insurance anymore. How much will it be for me to pay the cash price? I said, you know what, sir, let me look it up for you. So I look it up for her. I was like, sir, it says it's going to be $1,164.37. He said, say that again. I said, well, that's going to be $1,164.37. Now, at this point, he lost all ability to form a complete sentence. Because he looked at me real hard, threw his hands, and then was like, fuck, and walked the hell off. Like, he walked all the way out the store. I could see him. Like, he ain't asked no questions. He ain't asked to speak to a manager, how he could fix it, nothing. He just walked the hell out the store. So I really didn't know what to do. So I did the best thing I could think to do. I was like, can I help the next customer, please? That's the only thing I could think to do. That's what I was supposed to do. I got squirrels in my attic.
Oh my God.
Huh? No, for real, that's not a joke. Can y'all please come help me get these little mumbo? I got squirrels, and it's pissing me off. But I called a professional squirrel catcher. At least I think he was a professional squirrel catcher. I don't know. But let me describe what he was wearing. He had cargo shorts on, you know, flannel. Long greasy hair and one tooth. So he played the part really well. Like, I don't know if that was just part of his thing that he would do to try to, you know, sell me that he can catch squirrels. But I was convinced. I was convinced in a mother. But you know, he tells me, he's like, hey, I caught the squirrel. Now, I can tell it was a female by the size of her nipples. Now I'm like, I don't know how many squirrel titties you done seen that you can tell it was a female. And he also could tell that she was pregnant by the size of her nipples. Couldn't get the word out, but the size of her nipples. So I was like, okay. He's like, now it's gonna be babies, but I can't get to them. It's gonna cost you a fortune for me to get to them. I was like, well, leave them motherfuckers alone. You know, and he was like, now the thing about it is they're gonna have high-pitched squeal, but in about a week without the mom, they should die. I'm like, okay, cool. Sounds good. So about a week later, I'm starting to hear this high-pitched squeal. And I'm starting to feel real guilty. I'm like, dang, I done took these little baby mama squirrel away, you know? And, you know, guilt can do something to you. Guilt can really have you tripping. Because I swear to you, in a little baby squirrel voice, I heard that squirrel say, your mama's a bitch. I'm Andre Copeland. I appreciate it.
Keep it going for Andre, everyone. One thing I gotta say.